All items listed are for discussion only. No action can or will be taken. We have one item on our agenda this evening. All members of council are in attendance and concerns the fire agreement between the City of Goodyear and Litchfield Park. So, Paul Louisi.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Today I'm going to talk about the IGA with Litchfield Park. There we go. The way it's currently constructed right now, 25 years, option for two 10-year renewals. Goodyear will provide, obviously, the fire protection and emergency medical services to the City of Litchfield Park. Litchfield Park will come on the automatic aid system that we belong to, and will be immediately enrolled in that once the IGA is approved. Financial terms, annual payments. As you can see, those are listed there for you. You may want to think why the 30% was constructed as part of this agreement. Basically, it was chosen because it was the impact of Litchfield Park's call volume as based by some of the historical data that will add to the City of Goodyear's call volume. So they run roughly about 30% of the calls that Fire Station 183, which will be their main station that responds to Litchfield Park, runs. All salaries are figured into the contract or at midpoint and include benefits for the employees that are assigned to Fire Station 183. Litchfield Park will assume 30% of the cost for operating the fire station, which will be adjusted annually on July 1st. And some of those costs are associated with maintenance, utilities, commodities, and those are required to operate the station. So some of the disposable equipment as well that we use for the fire station, and especially for EMS calls. Additionally, this percentage increase will happen annually with salaries and benefits as they increase. The IGA and associated call volume will have no impact on Fire Station 183 or its lifespan. Litchfield Park will also make a one-time capital purchase for a fire inspector vehicle. They will also be paying for a part-time fire inspector to help with some of the occupancy, annual occupancy inspections that we'll be conducting in the City of Litchfield Park. By 2011, Litchfield Park will adopt Goodyear's fire code. We have the ability to be able to terminate the contract if that's what you choose within 365-day notice. Obviously, that is because we are a public safety entity, and obviously we want to make sure that they have adequate resources if we decide to leave at any time. Goodyear retains all ownership rights of all property. We really feel strongly that by adopting the Goodyear fire codes, we ensure that we're protecting the businesses, the citizens, and the firefighters by enforcing the same code standards that we have in our city. Members of the Goodyear Fire Department stand ready to respond to Litchfield Park when directed by council. This agreement allows for positive revenue fund for the city. It allows Litchfield Park access to the automatic aid system and a higher level of service from the Phoenix Regional System. Some of the pros and cons of this IGA, certainly one of the biggest things we need to think about is because of automatic aid, us responding to Litchfield Park, if they had gotten that contract with Avondale at a later time, we probably would have done 60 to 75% of those calls anyways and not received any revenue for it. So with this contract directly with us, we're capitalizing on the revenue. Actually reduces costs to existing service levels to the City of Goodyear residents, provides a general revenue fund of approximately $500,000 a year annually. No new capital resources are required. Again, we're using the existing Fire Station 183. One part-time inspector will be added, as will a vehicle and depreciation costs for that vehicle over the years. Their call volume really adds about 1 to 1.5 calls per day. So again, no real strain on our system currently as we operate today. This may open the door for additional revenues at a later point. Rural Metro currently serves the county islands that sit in the City of Goodyear. So if they do decide to move out of their current station, this could open potential revenue sources for us at a later point. It certainly strengthens the automatic aid system. As you know now, Litchfield Park is run by Rural Metro, and they are on a mutual aid. So they don't have an automatic system that calls for additional resources should they need it. With them entering this IGA with us, It certainly strengthens that system. Everybody's operating off the same sheet of music. There's no one part and parcel that's operating off something different. Some of the cons, slightly, again, increases our call volume, about 1 to 1.5 calls per day. And maybe some additional increase in operational costs, obviously fuel, some medical supplies. But again, they help reimburse a lot of those costs as well. So I'll take any questions from council.
$500,000, Paul.
Well, as far as...
I mean, is it broken down? You've got what, depreciation, operations?
Yeah, we have depreciation of the vehicles, 2 vehicles, the Engine 183 and the Hazmat 183 that's assigned to that station. Obviously, the commodities that are assigned to that station, salaries and benefits for the employees that operate at our Fire Station 183, as well as the part-time inspector and the inspector vehicle that they'll be purchasing as well. And then also, any increase in cost will automatically be rolled in every year.
So every year there's an adjustment?
Yes. If there are increasing costs on the City of Goodyear's behalf, there will be an adjustment there.
So that allocation's what, 30%? Is that how that works?
Correct.
Okay. How about the service? You had mentioned maybe 1.5 calls.
Yep.
Is there going to be any negative impact on the services that you're currently performing for the City of Goodyear?
No, we don't really see a negative impact at all. We see it certainly as a positive, providing our excellent customer service to the City of Litchfield Park that the City of Goodyear residents have been enjoying. So we don't really see any decrease in our level of service at all. If, for a fact, Fire Station 183, if they're out training or out on another call, obviously through automatic aid, they'll pick up the next closest resource, which is Fire Station 185. And they're actually only about 4.5 miles away from the center of Litchfield Park. So,
Now, the one thing that kind of grabbed my eye when we talked about the win-win is you mentioned mutual aid. So if Avondale, were there others negotiating with Litchfield Park for this?
About 18 months ago, the City of Avondale and Litchfield Park had entered into at least an agreement in principle. Unfortunately, what happens for the City of Goodyear, because of automatic aid, we would have been picked up as the closest resource to that call from Fire Station 183. So the City of Avondale at that point would have appreciated all the revenues. The City of Goodyear still would have been running the calls. So it's the way the automatic aid system works.
Okay. So we would have had additional costs? No
Absolutely, with no revenue.
All right. Thank you.
Frank? I just think it's, I like the idea, and I like the idea because we're looking to a future change in fire stations, and the operation and maintenance, to have as many as we have can be very difficult for a city, and I can see this happening on other parts of the area.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good venture.
What kind of assurances do we have, once the initial payment has been made, what kind of assurance do we have from Litchfield Park that they will be able to meet future contracts financially?
That's a good question, sir. We were at the Litchfield Park City Council meeting when they did vote this in unanimously, and they are committed to our level of service. I mean, they are making a big kind of leap of faith, I guess, going away from rural metro and also going over to the City of Goodyear to provide their fire and emergency services. I guess the contract was very easy to negotiate. The terms were very easy to come to, so we feel positive, and all the signs that we've heard from their city manager, mayor, and council is that they're very supportive of this, and it's been a long time coming that they want to share municipal resources. So
we talk about 2 10-year contracts or 10-year contracts renewal twice, and then within the contract itself, you say that this basically is a 1-year deal. Explain that difference.
Well, the 1-year deal would be any increased costs. So, for instance, if we had a merit increase or we had an increase in cost to our health insurance, like we did this year, that cost would be rolled over to Litchfield Park, so they would have to assume more of that cost, that rising cost. Or they're going to be paying $24.54 per call that's dispatched out of the City of Litchfield Park. So if that if that amount increases through the Phoenix Regional Dispatch Center, they would have to obviously incur that cost increase as well. So,
Thank you, Paul.
yeah.
Okay. I think this is an excellent idea, but I'm concerned about the ability to pay later on. They've shifted from time to time between cities and building their own facilities for fire equipment and what have you, for fire calls. And I'm just concerned about that. And I just wish that we could put more teeth into the contract that we have with them. And that's my basic concern. But it's a good idea, and I've got to think about it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate the proposal, and you know, I do see that it's not just revenues, but it's also a strategy, and has collaborations. I do have one question. Considering Litchfield Park, I don't know what the percent would be, but is almost built out. When you stated that they have a year to adopt the fire codes.
Correct.
Why would we let them have a year? I mean, would these
Oh,
codes be only going for future development, which there's not
No.
much left? So that's why I question.
No,
why we
actually,
have to wait a year.
I'm sorry. It's the legislative moratorium that's placed on codes right now. They would adopt them as we speak today, but they have to wait until next July to adopt new codes. So they currently work with the 2003 codes. We're in 2006. We've already had a meeting with all parties involved to talk about some of the differences. They're very slight. We've already noted those differences, and they certainly want to increase their fire code to protect their citizens. So they're very supportive of our current code now. So.
Okay. Well, and I appreciate also that your figures are in percents rather than actual dollars. That makes more sense. So
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
No, I'm fine.
I talked to the fire chief, and to be frank, he said, surprised it took you this long. Surprised it took you this long. No hard feelings.
Okay. All right, good job.
Okay, thank you.